This is a Revit tutorial on how to add ceilings and lights. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our project browser and select the ceiling plan of the floor we want to work on. So I'm going to select level 1. And then I'm going to scroll in on the room we're going to be working on. So I'm going to make a ceiling in this bathroom here. So the first thing I do is go up to architecture and select ceiling. Now there's two options for creating a ceiling. There's an automatic ceiling and a sketch ceiling. An automatic ceiling works great if you're doing one room and you want to do the whole ceiling with one kind. Sketch ceiling, when you open it up, is much like all our other modify tools. But for a ceiling, if you want to make one section of a ceiling, one type, or if you don't want the whole room to have the same ceiling, you would use this. But for this project, I'm going to use an automatic ceiling. So you can see when I hover over a room, it highlights the space. But before you click to create your ceiling, you need to look at your properties bar and see what details will be going into your ceiling. So when you click on the drop down, it gives you several types of ceiling you can choose from. For this project, I'm going to use a 2x4 ACT system. And all I have to do is click in the middle of the highlighted area. And you see it automatically created the ceiling that I wanted. And that's adding an automatic ceiling in Revit. So now we're going to make a sketch ceiling in a separate space. So I'm going to hit escape twice. And I'm going to scroll out and go into this main lobby area. So what I'm going to do is make a circle ceiling in the middle of this room. So what I'm going to do is go to architecture, ceiling once again, and select sketch ceiling. So now you can see I can select the ceiling types, and for the ceiling I'm going to use a 5/8 inch gypsum wallboard on metal stud. And then I'm going to go to this drawing box and select circle. So I'm going to select the middle area of this line and make a 7-foot circle. And then hit the green check mark. And now there's a ceiling there. Now if we want to check the ceiling, we need to check that in 3D view, but we need to look at it from our first floor. Now you can see that circle section of ceiling hanging in the view. Now the next step is adding lights to these ceilings. So we're going to go back to our ceiling plan level 1. And I'm going to start with the bathroom. So now to add ceiling lights into our bathroom, I'm going to go to architecture and component. And now it brings up a component we've used before, but no lights that we want. So there's some other lights in here, but maybe that's not the one I want. So what we're going to do is go to load family. So it's going to bring up this window, and we're actually going to scroll down to lighting. Double click there. And then we're going to double click on architectural, double click on internal, and so it brings up this very long list of lights. So what I want is a Troffer light 2x4 parabolic. And so this light will actually fit inside those 2x4 panels that we made in the bathroom. So I'm going to click open. So now we have our light, but it's facing the wrong direction. So what I'm going to do is actually just place it in our model, hit escape twice, and then I'm just going to simply grab my rotate tool and rotate it 90 degrees, and then drag it into place. So if we want another light in this space and not have to re-rotate it, we select the light and click on copy, and copy from the corner down to the next grid block. So you can copy lights like that. Now, for our light in the main space, we're going to do a very similar process. So we're going to go to Architecture and Component, and we're going to look to our list. And for this ceiling section, I want to put a can light. So I want fluorescent 120 volt. So it shows up and you can drag them around like many components, and I'm going to place 4 of them inside this ceiling. So I've placed 4 of them in this ceiling. I'm going to hit escape twice. And then I'm going to go back to that 3D view I made a few moments ago to see these lights. So now you can see in my 3D view, you can see those can lights I just placed in the ceiling. So that's simply how to add lights and ceilings in Revit. Have a good day.